The all-new Designing Women reunion.
Why doesn't everybody talk about their favorite show?
Should I go first?
Yes. Go first, Dixie.
The Pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was my favorite show. I fell in love with you. Right on the spot, and I was already in love with you. I mean, we didn't even know Meshack
Not
then.
yet.
But still, excuse me for saying it, Meshack, but it was that first show.
That's okay.
Even though I needed a facelift.
He can't retire. He's been my gynecologist for years.
Let him go. He's paid his dues. 3 hours ago, you were looking for a new gynecologist. So Mary Jo here very graciously gave you the number of her ex-husband. Now you return with the news that you are dating this person. I mean, forgive my stupidity, but just exactly how does one make that jump from the stirrups in a doctor's office to a booth at TGI Friday?
Look, Julia, I can't explain it. It was romantic fate. I'm a romantic. All I know is our eyes met.
She's not only a romantic, she's a contortionist.
There have been very few comedies in all of TV history that have had such a collection of strong and opinionated female characters.
These were just what the title says. They were women. Beautiful, smart, mature women, and great actresses who had learned their craft and knew how to take every line and get the most out of it.
Acting with Annie. I've been on the stage with Meryl Streep, and I've been on the stage with Annie. And I'll tell you what.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I can retire now, can't I?
What do you think, Julia? You like them?
Mary Jo, they're different. It takes getting used to.
Go ahead. Feel them. Oh, that's all right.
No, come on. This is almost the consistency of what I'll be getting. I mean, go ahead.
Mary Jo, I'll feel them some other time, okay? But thank you for asking.
Well, Charlene, you feel them.
Now?
Well, yeah, go ahead. I want to know what you think.
Well, okay.
Excuse me, I'll just be taking these in the back.
Harry Thomason, as the director of the show, was such a gift to the show and to the whole cast, really, because he was such a big, strong, masculine, loving presence that everybody felt free and protected, and they could just fly. Harry loved strong women, and the stronger they got, the more he laughed and the more he supported them.
Well, I just walked right in there and plopped them right up there on the couch. And it intimidated the heck out of her. She had a whole new look of respect on her face.
Mary Jo, you are like a kid with a new toy.
I know I am. You know, I think these things are supposed to make you feel more feminine, but they make me feel aggressive, you know, kind of macho-like. I tell you, if I go up to a D cup, I think I could get into a fist fight.
Designing Women's a classic sitcom, not just because it's funny, but because it was a precursor to shows like Friends and Sex and the City. Without Designing Women, you don't have those shows.
You could see some of the antecedents to a character like Karen Walker in Designing Women, you know, who, you know, dressed to the nines, confident, unaware of their own silliness, sort of, and full of bravado.
That I don't like to brag, but I've turned a few heads in my time.
Well, you didn't do it with those. No offense.
Check, please.
No problem. He took care of it.
He who?
See what I'm talking about? It is a whole new world. I'll tell you, Julia, we have been big fools. These things are power.
That's one of my favorites. It really is.
Oh, my God. Well, I still get stopped in the airport sometimes with people coming up to me and just going, those things are power.
And the reservations for 8 with when we go away with all the men.
That pose that women assume, like they're these superior human beings, much more tuned in to emotion, language, culture, children, and we are just these big, untrainable Neanderthals stumbling through life who occasionally fall on top of them.
Right. And apparently even that we don't do long enough to satisfy them.
Designing Women, I think, is one of the landmarks for vivid character comedy in all of television. It was also a pressure cooker because they would, you know, the language on this show would sort of reach boiling level sometimes. I mean, predating Dennis Miller, you had all these women who'd go off on these major rants, especially Julia Sugarbaker. It was before people were doing snaps, you know, which is part of the jargon today. But I mean, the snaps came off of their tongues because they were just so full of vinegar, and they just wouldn't, you know, they just wouldn't play dead for anybody.
That is a typical male attitude. Now, the truth is that we women haven't had enough power or money or confidence to start much of anything, but we sure as heck get the blame for everything. And I'll tell you something else. I love men in particular. I love this one. But you cannot ignore history. And history has shown that, in general, it has been the men who have done the raping and the robbing and the killing and the warmongering for the last 2,000 years. It has been the men who have done the pillaging and the beheading and the subjugating of whole races into slavery. It has been the men who have done the lawmaking and the money-making and most of the mischief-making. So if the world isn't quite what you had in mind, you have only yourselves to thank.
Well, let me tell you something about women.
Yeah?
What?
They're always late.
Oh, but in the show with Dolly Parton, remember the two-parter?
Oh, yeah.
Where I had my baby, and it was New Year's, and the little old
lady.
She was my fairy godmother.
Did you know that Linda wrote that show? I brought my grandmother. Do you remember I brought my grandmother to the set? And
Your grandmother lived to be 113, didn't she?
114.
114.
And I brought her to the set for her 106th birthday.
Yeah,
And
I remember.
And she talked about growing up in the South, and she talked about her father and everything. And then Linda incorporated that interview into the
With
piece
Bea
that Bea Richards did. Yes, and it was that was my favorite show. That was because it was about my nana.
As my papa used to say, we ain't what we should be. We ain't what we gonna be. But at least we ain't what we was.
And Dolly Parton, oh my God, she was just adorable. I mean, there I am with almost no makeup, and I'm out to here, and I have on flat slippers and a big bathrobe, and I'm doing a scene with Dolly Parton, who's this big around and has on 50 pounds of hair and 4-inch jewel-encrusted high heels and a waist like this, and she still hits me about here, you know. And I'm... Thank you, Dolly, for being in my dream.
Oh, you're welcome. You just remember that tomorrow, when you meet your daughter, on the first day of the last decade of the entire 20th century, you'll be meeting the person that'll be holding your hand when it's your time to go.
Bye, Dolly. I'll be seeing you.
Oh, you count on that, because I'm your guardian movie star.
Boy, she looks even better in person. Oh, darn, I forgot to ask her for her autograph. Gosh, Olivia's coming in a few hours. It's almost the first day of the last decade of the entire 20th century. And Olivia's coming.
Do you remember Annie's Cigarette Girl in the World War II?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, that was my favorite.
Nothing was as good as us shooting that afternoon. Do you mind if I tell the story?
Tell that story.
In the World War II thing, Dixie had a...
Too graphic.
Well, I have to play it out.
All right, okay.
And I think there's a little clip of it. Dixie had a dress that was like the American flag. Stars up here and stripes down there, and it had a split down the middle. And Hal was in that show, and Dixie was playing this kind of Marlene Dietrich character, and at one point she was supposed to rip off her trench coat, and then she was supposed to put her leg up on the chair and do this Marlene Dietrich song, and the moment came and she dropped her trench coat and she put her leg up on the chair, and Dixie had put her pantyhose on but forgot everything else. And I remember sitting next to Hal, and we had 200 people there and a lot of extras. I've never been on a stage so hushed in my life.
Quiet.
Nobody moved for about 5 minutes. And I think at that time, I believe I said, finally breaking the silence, well, I believe we know what to get Dixie for Christmas.
But Dixie was mortified. She was absolutely mortified. This Miss Dixie, you don't get to see that.
So proper. So proper.
She comes back, and Hal goes back to take care of her. He's talking to her, and he says, "What's the matter?" And she says, she calls him Mr. Holbrook. She said, "Oh, Mr. Holbrook, I'm so embarrassed. All those people out there, they just saw my fancy." No, wait a minute.
I love that.
Wait a minute. And Hal said, wait a minute.
It wasn't fancy.
Not pretty. And Hal said, "Well, don't worry about that, darling. It was very lovely."
Next, Delta has some special words for her co-stars.
Thank you all for being so patient when I wanted to die. And you were so good to me.